Well, here we are. Welcome back to the Real Deal podcast. Dane Atherton joining me back in the chair. Our co-host, Rob Ford. How are you, Robbie?
Mate, I'm great. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
Sleepless night with this one, knowing we had young Liam O'Brien,
Absolutely.
the lobster, joining us here today. Liam, it's an absolute privilege to have you on the Real Deal, mate. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
It's great to see you. And, mate, you're beaming after the win. I will just announce here today, if you haven't seen it on socials, but the Coastal team has taken out the Wyndham Corporate Surfing Challenge. Rob was on the team.
Yeah.
And, of course, Liam driving it home. Rob said in the video that you must have sore shoulders from
I don't think, Liam, because you got two waves that counted, I don't think you had a combined score less than 16 or 17. Like, you were absolutely ripping the whole day. It was actually impressive to see because the waves, we were all surfing and thinking, oh, this is pretty hard out there. And then you just go out and, yeah, it was an impressive display, mate.
Threes,
And we brought it home.
fours, threes,
Mate,
eights.
I got to say, I got one wave, absolutely tore it apart. The crowd went wild and I was like, oh, how good is this? Got in, went over, had a look. What was the score? 3.5. Yeah. It's humbling. Anyway, it was good fun. Really good fun.
So you must be beaming after that. So we're going to unpack everything that is Liam O'Brien, everything that has been your career, and it is a real estate-centric podcast. So a lot of our listeners are real estate professionals that will look for parallels between professional surfing, and I'm sure we might even surprise ourselves how many parallels there are with the approach to the ocean and surfing and preparing success and failure in dealing with all of that. But what we might do, mate, is just start about you throff surfing. See, I'm using the lingo even, right? You throff surfing. Yeah, it is. It's tough. You throff surfing. How did you like? What's your earliest surfing experience? Were you like a baby? Like when did you actually? Your dad took you into the ocean and blessed you? What is your earliest memory of surfing?
It was pretty early, actually. My dad's a lifelong surfer himself. He's from down in far west Victoria. And then I was born up here. He'd moved up here by the time I came along. And yeah, he pretty much always was at the beach, always surfing. And it was just sort of, as long as I can remember, I've been doing the same thing pretty much. Some of my earliest memories are like down at Rainbow Bay, actually, like catching little whitewaters. And I just remember the waves at the back. At the time, I thought they were like 20-foot gigantic waves, but it would have just been, really fun Greenmount Rainbow. But I remember being in the whitewater and watching that out the back, going, wow, that looks incredible. I'd love to go and try that one day. Must have been torch for my dad standing in there with me, pushing me in the whitewater while I was cooking. But they're like some of my early memories. And I think, I don't even know when I started. Probably started like standing up and riding little whitewaters when I was probably like 4 or something like that. And then, I was just hooked from there pretty much.
And was school something that got in the way of your surfing career?
I guess I don't think it got in the way, but it was definitely something I juggled.
Yeah.
Did you start competing early?
Yeah, I started competing when I was around. I mean, probably not early in terms of when other people would have started, but I think the first event I did, I was probably 11. Okay. The first proper event. It was the Occy Grom Comp, actually, down at D-Bar.
How'd you go?
So bad. I didn't really understand the concept. I think my mum took me down, who doesn't surf, and we had no idea. And I went out there and caught.
She was your coach.
Yeah, she was my coach for the day.
Yeah.
Got the day off school, and I think I caught one wave, and then I'd got one at the start, and it was all right. And then I just sat there for the rest of the heat because I didn't see another wave I liked the look of. Yeah. But then lost the heat needing like a 2 or something and just didn't catch another one. And went, that was like the first learning was like, all right, well, maybe catch 2 next time and you might have more of a shot. But I started around then and then it just sort of snowballed from there pretty much.
And when was that moment where you thought, I can actually make a career out of this?
To be honest, I always wanted to make a career out of it because I just loved it so much.
Yeah.
And whether I was a pro surfer or something else, I was always going to try and rig my life so I could surf as much as I could. That was always sort of the goal. And the obvious path was to try and surf for a job because then I'd be able to go and do it all day long. So that was always what I wanted to do. But I feel like my whole junior career, I had a decent junior career, but I didn't blow it out of the park. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It wasn't a given that I was going to become a pro or anything like that. Yeah. So it was sort of more of a dream. And I don't think I realised that it could be a reality until not too long ago, like when I was sort of like getting close to the CT, that's when it sort of became more of a feasible path for me. But yeah, up until then it was just all passion and like desire to try and get there, but definitely not something I was banking on.
Yeah, and there is a moment when you first qualified for the CT, you actually broke your leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so
you're ready to go, starting the year.
pretty much, yeah, I'd qualified the year before in Hawaii, and then the CT was starting the year following in Hawaii, but I qualified in December and the start of the CT was in January. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. So I came home for a little bit, back to Hawaii and did like a good 2 weeks before the event. We got a heap of swell, had a really good lead in. And then morning of the event, I paddled out. It was a bit wonky and weird. I was struggling to get a wave and I just got this sort of insider wave and it wasn't that bad of a wave or a big heavy wave or anything. It was just a weird backwash that came through the wave and kind of like, yeah, anyway, I landed on my board underwater, like in a weird position and broke my ankle and that was it. It was all over before it started. And that year that was one of the early years of the cut too. So it was sort of 4 months. And then if you hadn't got the points up to get out of the bottom 10, you got cut off back to the Challenger Series. So I didn't even get to surf a heat because I was injured the whole time. So I was straight back to the Challenger after that. So it was a bit of a false start to the career. But
so you had to re-qualify?
Yeah.
Or did you get an injury wildcard?
No, unfortunately, they only have 2 injury wildcards. And that year there was a ton of injuries and they pretty much just prioritize it off rankings, which is fair enough. And I had no rankings, so I was out of there. But I think just...
How was coming back?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't exactly smooth, was it? Like, you didn't go straight back to
Nah.
form. It took a little while.
It took a while, yeah. I trained like really hard through rehab and I had this grand idea that I was going to come back at the Challenger event. First one was at Snapper. And as I said, I had this big idea that I was going to come back and win it and just be back on my way. And I came back and lost first heat, went to the next event, lost first heat, and then went and did a QS, which is even a tier below, just to try and get some confidence back. Lost first heat there and was just going, shit, I think I'm done. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. And I had so much expectation on myself because I'd just gotten there and I believed I could get back and I really wanted to get back. But it just wasn't happening and I was getting a bit frustrated and bitter about it all and just going, shit, like I've done all this work. I'm trying to get back to where I was and like, why did that even have to happen in the first place? And it wasn't until I sort of just let that all go and was just back just enjoying competing and just going, well, I kind of reached this headspace where I was like, well, whether I'm on the CT or the Challenger or whatever, like right now I'm getting to compete and travel and it's the same thing at any level. Of course, you get paid better at the top and there's more glory that goes with it, but essentially it's the same thing. So
that's very relatable. That that you want something so bad, you're pushing hard, frustration, and then it's that moment you kind of let go.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
It starts to flow.
Where I let go and I just came back to enjoying my competing, enjoying going through the process and doing my prep.
Without the expectation.
Without the expectation, exactly, and just letting the result be whatever it would be. If it was a last place, then fine. If I won the comp, then that's great too. But focusing more on what I could control and my own input into those sorts of events and even just my training and stuff like that.
How do you go with that? Because surfing's an interesting one where you can do all the prep in the world and then like a lot of sports, if you're a runner, if you're a cyclist, whatever, the conditions, it's pretty well, everyone competing gets their own similar sort of shot at it. Surfing can be so different, like heat to heat, the waves can change so much, even in 5 minutes during the heat. So how do you go putting so much prep into an event to then, one, have the waves can change, and then two, you kind of, the judging is subjective as well. So that must be hard to probably accept sometimes. Definitely.
That's something you learn early on in surfing is that there are so many variables that are out of your control. And you got to go about things in a professional way. You got to take care of all the things you can take care of. And, typically when you're doing all of that, you expect a result. And that's sort of the challenge, I think, with probably with all sports, but especially with surfing, is that you got to be willing to do everything, but not expect a result every time and just be happy with
wherever it lands,
and then taking the learnings you can out of the result you get and then trying to be better for the next one. And I think that's like the most effective mentality you can have in the game of surfing. Is you just got to, like, the things that you can't control, the more you can just forget about it, the better, because you can do your head in going, the wave went down the beach and I was sitting here, or the judges gave him the score by 0.01. I didn't think like that stuff just goes on and on and on. And if you get bogged down in that, you're pretty much toast. Like if you want to make a good go of it, you got to just be so disciplined in just being focused on what you have in your control and doing that as well as you can. And I think over time, if you are doing that and the product you're presenting is good, it's going to work out anyway.
Does someone help you with that mental side of it? Like in terms of accepting what's going on? Because that's a pretty mature, like you're still a young guy, like that's a pretty mature mindset to have in accepting loss and accepting defeat when your livelihood's depending on winning in a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been really lucky to have a lot of people help me. I have a guy named Brett Stevens in Victoria that I do a lot of work with. He's a former AFL player, and he's done a lot of work with tennis players and things like that. And
is he like a mental skills coach?
Kind of. He's not like a psychologist or anything. He's more just someone that's had his own sporting career and then looked after a lot of other people. And he's more of like he started off as more of a like a physical coach and a trainer.
And how often would you be conversing with him?
Around an event, I'll chat to him every night or every second night, just on the phone, and just because, I mean, as I said, like
unpack
exactly this mentality. You know, it's what you're aiming for, but you're never going to achieve it perfectly because there's all this noise that comes into your head, and it's a constant, like you're always grappling with these frustrations and these different thoughts that you're having, and it's just essentially he just helps me stay on the track that I want to be on and the track that's going to lead me where I want to go.
If you find yourself veering off, what is it that normally does it? Is there anything that normally, if you're in a good place in the right zone and then you find yourself, veering, is there something that normally does it? Is it like a competitor, or is it?
There's so many different things. I find, like I kind of mentioned before, that when you're trying to elevate yourself to the next level and you have the expectation, that for me is something that often derails me a little bit. Not so much in the sense that I'll just give up and won't be doing the right things. It's just that bit of frustration I start getting with, and I get a bit bitter about events and results. Like this year's been a good example where I've had to come back and kind of relearn that, because I've been on tour for the last 3 years and then I've fallen off, and you got to kind of swallow that bitter pill and cop it and just go, right, well, if I want to get back there, I got to get back in the trenches and do the work. And
you're bitter, mate. We're watching it. We're bitter for you. Yeah. Like I remember watching this year, and you actually did have a number of occasions where it could have gone either way, in my opinion. Like, I don't want to be controversial here, but I mean, we'll cut now to Burleigh Gold Coast Pro, right? Because this was an iconic event, and I'm sure in your wildest dreams you never would have imagined that there would have been a CT event that got moved from Snapper to Burleigh.
Yeah.
So it wasn't planned. And then, of course, all the Burleigh board riders, proud member, so much support. And you were the guy. You are the local guy. Talk about pressure. How do you reflect back on that whole, just amazing experience?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. As you mentioned, like I never in a million years would have thought there would have been a CT at Burleigh. Not in this day and age, Snapper's such
But wasn't it unbelievable?
Yeah. And then when there was talk of it earlier in the year, and I'm kind of like, what? Like, that can't be right. Yeah. And then sure enough, it happened, and it was just, I think I just really made sure I just took it all in, because I was like, it was so obvious that this was like one of those moments that I'm going to like remember forever, whether I did well or terrible. It was like, this is just so cool. Like I'm at home.
You seemed very relaxed.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous.
Yeah. You hide it well.
So nervous. I felt nervous because I wanted to do it for everyone else more than for myself. Obviously, I wanted to do well, but it was just another event. But
almost like an expectation locally.
Yeah, but to have everyone on the beach, I'm like, I don't want to just go out and just bomb out and look like an idiot in front of everyone. Like I want to kind of get through just to keep everyone on the beach stoked. But no, it was so cool. I've never had anything like that surfing. I've never had an event at my home break. So most events there's someone else that everyone's cheering for. Or
Were you surprised at the level of support you had?
yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you guys did the heads.
The heads.
that everyone had, and the t-shirts, and
We'll have to get some footage of those up if we can, because that was cool.
I didn't actually know. And I was getting ready, kind of in the athlete area, just to stay away from the whole zoo that was out in the crowd. And when I ran out, there was just this huge crowd. All the Groms had their heads and stuff. And I was going,
Yeah,
"Oh."
we were worried that was going to throw you.
No,
But,
it was really cool. It was.
It's funny because the shout out to the Burleigh board riders because they were amazing in getting it out there.
Their support was
All
huge.
the support for you, and we gave all the heads to them, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
went and just distributed to all the Groms. And then the shirts, and we had people coming up, can I have a shirt? Can I have a shirt? And we got a reprint done.
Yeah.
So that was just amazing. So, I mean, I do remember, like, we were up in the corporate section, and that was just going ballistic.
Yeah.
And then that wave that you caught where you did that big floater, we're all like, 10. And
You had that little barrel as well. I think you
Oh.
came out of the barrel.
and we
and
literally
that
thought you were
line.
home. We thought you were
Yeah.
home. And it's just hard to sort of temper that, how much you want someone to win versus, we're not actually professional judges, so we don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
and it's impossible for us to be non-biased
Yeah.
while we're watching it. But did you feel like it was pretty fair, in terms of the way it landed on reflection? You probably
I
felt
did,
different.
yeah. I probably felt like I was getting a little bit of juice, to be
Yeah,
honest.
fair enough. Yeah.
But to get back to
So you should.
yeah, to get back to your point before though, it wasn't so much that I was bitter at the judges or
No.
it was more just the whole situation of like, why can I not seem to figure it out and get to where I want to go? Because this year more than any, I set myself a goal of trying to like really challenge for that top 5 and have a shot at a title maybe. So I've done a couple of years now. I was like, I want to push into the next level, at least like try and maybe get top 10 finish or just let's go for the top. And then it just didn't really happen, and I ended up falling off. And my first reaction was just, I just did more training than I've ever done. I've just gone harder in the off season. I've done everything. I've done all these different things that I haven't done in the past to try and elevate myself, and it's kind of just blown up in my face. And the big learning was to, instead of to do it, go to the event, not get the result, and then get bitter, is just to stay on the path. Do it, go to the result. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, I'll tweak this and I'll tweak that, and I'm going to go again and try and get a bit more obsessed with just the idea of improving myself every time. And I think that's sort of more undeniable, that approach, than.
And is that what you've been doing since?
That's kind of where I've landed because, it's just been like a year of not quite getting where I've wanted to go, even in the Challenger Series too, having like pretty lofty goals of trying to get up into the finals and stuff and not quite getting there and getting pretty disappointed each event. Of course, you're going to be disappointed when you lose, but trying to just turn that into a more of a constructive disappointment and finding a bit more of an obsession with the things that I can get better at and just like tinkering around with my own approach and what I've got to work with. That's been...
And how much of that is surfing versus strategy to win heats?
It's kind of depends on the person, depends on where you're at and what you need to work on. But it's like a lot of times there'll be little mistakes strategically that you have here and there. For example, like at Burleigh, I think earlier in the year I'd lost a few heats by not taking the inside at the start and like thinking I'd held them too deep in the lineup that when they caught a wave it wasn't going to be in the spot where it was going to be any good. And then having that blow up in my face, and then they get the wave, and it's end up being a bomb. And then I've lost that way. So at Burleigh, I kind of flipped the opposite with Kanoa, and I was like, I'm really going to be staunch on the inside. And then the opposite happened where I was a little far up, and then he managed to get the wave kind of under me and got that 8 off the start.
Yeah.
And then he surfed a great heat and smoked me. But just stuff like that where you go one way and then you go the other way, and you kind of like, I can't get it right. But just instead of getting frustrated about it, just being willing to stay on the path and go, well, I'm just going to tweak it back this way a little bit, and I'm going to just keep going until it does work, and not really have the expectation.
And not being sort of motivated or even demotivated by the result.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
It's almost like the results are none of your business. I'll just stick to the process.
Yeah.
Keep improving, and almost not even setting limits for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't, first of all, it's so much easier to say that than do it. Like when you're trying to do it, you're getting frustrated, you're messing up. Like it's never going to be perfect. It's just more just the pursuit of trying to get better. But you still need to have a desire to want to win. Like that's got to be that's got to be in there, and it's almost got to be a given. And
Okay,
then
so that's the next part, because you are the surfing personality personified. You're chilled from the outside, right? Relaxed, easygoing, super friendly, like happy for everyone else. You must be competitive.
yeah, for sure, definitely.
So if someone was to look inside, like how do you, like, because you look at some professional surfers and they're like demons, right?
Yeah,
But then, and what we love about being involved in you is that you ask anyone about Liam O'Brien, he gives time, he's a great guy, good human. How do you balance that between that competitive fire? Like you must get angry, you must want to beat people, like you still
yeah, for sure.
you still
yeah,
have that, like I want to smash this guy. You must
definitely.
still have
Yeah,
that.
definitely. No, 100%. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't.
Yeah.
I would have done something else a long time ago. But it is tricky because my nature's definitely like more inclined towards just no conflict and just
Yeah.
letting it be and not trying to get up in people's faces. And
Have you ever talked to coaches, people about that and whether that's a good thing, advantage or disadvantage in pro surfing?
oh, definitely. There's all different like aspects to it, but I think that like, for me, I'll favour heats where it's just there's lots of waves and we're just trading off and it's not so much like head to head combat sort of thing. So that's when I need to I'll like naturally kind of, for example, like battling someone for the inside and being a prick at the start of a heat, like I'll naturally won't want to do that. I'm like, that's not my style, but I just need to and it's still something I'm working. I haven't mastered it, but I need to recognise that and go, okay, well, I need to logically recognise this is something that I need to do right now, and then just try and, it's not going to be a bit uncomfortable, but I can see why I'm doing it, and surf heats in a like more of a logical way, and just go, okay, well, even just taking a second in a heat and go, okay, what would really benefit me right now? What should I do? What would, if I was on the beach watching me surfing right now, what would I be going, you should do this. That would be a great move.
That's a good question to ask yourself.
Yeah. And then also asking, what would my opponent not want me to do right now? Like, what if I did something right now, are they going to be going, oh, that's sweet. I'm stoked with that. Or are they going, oh shit, he's done that to me.
Well, that's what I was thinking then, like, when there must be moments in a heat, midway through a heat, where you can feel the dynamic of the heat change.
Yeah.
And you almost get to a point where almost a frustration or a need to do something more comes in.
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
At the time and trying to force something.
Definitely, yeah.
How do you
Well, yeah, I
try and
suppose
push that back?
to answer both questions, that and then trying to be more of a mongrel of a competitor, like I don't like get my kicks out of just paddling over the top of someone and being an absolute
Dick.
or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
it's a comp. You got to do what you got to do. But that's just I find that uncomfortable. But I enjoy like more like the chess match of it and trying to think about it and trying to create solutions. Like for example, when you're under pressure and it's going wrong, trying to come up with a solution and then trying something and seeing if it works or if it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that helps me to do some of the more uncomfortable things when I can recognise that it's more of a chess move than me just wanting to be a prick to this guy.
Yeah,
like it's like, okay, well, I'm doing this for a reason. Like I'm getting your inside because I know that if you get the inside, you're probably going to get a massive score on me. It's like I'm respecting your ability. So that's just me. Like some people love to just go out there and just go for it and take someone on, and they love that kind of combat style of heat surfing. And then some people are super super cruisy and they're just like, you just do your thing and I'll do my thing and may the best man win.
And we just say like the difference would be from an outsider as a fan.
Yeah.
Kelly Slater would be the example of the ultimate competitor. Would you say? And
Yeah.
Then maybe someone like John, who are both equally successful, world titles, whatever. Would you say that that's a good example of one? John's more in that camp where he's probably bit more like you.
Definitely, I'd agree. I think the thing that the guys at the top share is that they recognise what is their kind of their go-to, their like characteristic.
Yeah.
But then they also recognise how to be like even keeled through a heat.
Yeah.
Like for someone that's like a Medina he loves to go at it and he's just like, I want to,
He kind of always wants to bring in.
He wants to bring in
to
that
fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what-
But he's also smart enough to not let that just
Cloud him.
completely, not go so far the other way that he's so emotional that he can't think and he can't focus. Like everything's still super calculated. And
So
John's
how
the same.
How much do you think within the top, say, 10, top, well, even just the World Tour, how much comes down to ability versus mental sort of strength or resilience in comps? Like, is in your opinion, is anyone on the tour capable of winning a world title?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there is a big ability component. I don't think anyone on there is capable right at any moment, but I think there is a lot to be said for like your mental strength and your approach. And guys that do it really well can elevate themselves a lot, like beyond where you kind of think their capability would be with their surfing skills. But it's like the whole package, right? Like there's plenty of guys that surf insanely well that can't put a heat together, and there's plenty of guys that surf good, but they're not going to do anything that blows you away, but they're just really, really good at putting heats together. And then the guys, I think that
scores, but continually get them.
Yeah, I think the guys ultimately that win titles and girls are the ones that have the ability to do amazing stuff and score tens, but then can also put that together with the ability to surf really smart heats and make really good decisions, and then just holistically have everything in the right place. And they're doing the training, they got the diet right, they got their support crew right. I mean, no one, no matter how good they are, just sort of waltzes in and wins a title.
Can you talk a bit about that support crew? Because I feel like in the last 10 years, probably, maybe even 15, but surfing's been through a pretty massive transformation where you just went out and surfed versus now there's a whole team. And, talking about diet and all those things, I'd say that, even back at the days of Andy and, they weren't looking at their diet. They were just out having a great time. So how has that shifted now? Is there a different, even from when you're on the Challenger QS coming through, I'm sure you've seen a different change in the way that people approach surfing and competitiveness and getting themselves right. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I wasn't around back then, but it seemed like it was pretty Wild West, which was pretty cool. Like it would have been pretty fun. But you can't get away with it now because everyone else is doing all the right things and they get the edge, even if they're not as good a surfer, And
they're proper athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, the aerial game and it's almost gymnastics.
Yeah. So like, it's just, if you show up to a heat super hungover and you make dumb calls, like the other guy's gonna make the right calls and probably beat you. It's just not as. Here and there it happens a bit, but it's not like it was.
Who are your favourite surfers? Give me a couple, like from all multi-generational, that you actually love the style.
Yeah, I of course love watching Andy. He's unbelievable. He's one of the best to ever do it. Dane Reynolds has probably always been my all-time favourite surfer. I just love I always appreciate just a different take on stuff, and 100% have a lot of respect for someone who just does it in a really methodical, professional way. But I have always been drawn to crew that just do it differently and have their own style and flair and even just their approach to the whole life and surfing in general.
Anti-competition,
I really like that. I really appreciate it, and I don't know. I appreciate people that do something different, and I think he epitomises that. Yeah. So Dane.
Not me.
Yeah, and Dane.
This Dane as well. Very similar styles.
Yeah. And I suppose in this day and age, like guys like John, Yago Dora, really appreciate his surfing. Ethan, of course, Jack. There's a lot of good surfers out there.
I've had a lot of heats with my sons where there's been 2 minutes to go. Dad needs a 7, right? Dad pulls in, rips a couple of turns. And of course he gets the score because I'm the judge, right? But I actually sometimes I think, okay, you've got to, you're out there at Burleigh, there's a bomb, you're in the spot. That feeling of this is my wave. I'm going to get this one. Like in a crowded lineup, you just know it's yours, right? You look down the line, you have fun, you fall off. There's no stakes, right?
Yeah.
You've had plenty of them in your life, right? Just sick waves.
Except falling off.
Yeah, no, of course. But what I want to know is like, what's the difference? I'm sure there is. Like, what's the difference between that and you're in a heat, the whole world's watching. It's broadcast on World Wide Web. You've got heads on the hill with your head on them. Everyone's wearing t-shirts. You take off on a wave. That must be like. How do you get your head so you can still relax and surf that? Like, are you just not thinking at all and just doing?
I don't know. I'm pretty nervous usually.
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
Does it actually find? Do you find you actually surf with more energy because you've got that adrenaline?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes. I don't know. It's just case by case. Some days you just feel good and you're not fazed by it. Others you're so nervous and you can't surf and you feel shit out. So you got to just kind of just push through it and do it anyway. But I think experience helps a lot. Like my first few wild cards and stuff into CTs, I just felt terrible and I couldn't barely surf. And
you got used to overthinking it.
Yeah,
overthink.
Yeah. And then once you've done it, like anything, once you've done it a few times, it becomes a bit more natural and you're not as worried about it all. You're not like, oh, even just having a guy like John in your heat, you go, holy shit, there's John. Like,
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do here? So experience definitely helps. And then I don't really know. You got to almost just have that attitude like, well, if I'm nervous and I fall off, I'm falling off anyway. So I might as well just go for it and attack it and try and overcome the nerves.
I'll put on a show.
Yeah, with like an attacking attitude. That's sort of what I try and do. I don't always pull it off, but I think it works out best when you just decide to take it on and come back at the nerves as hard as they're coming at you. I don't know if that's good advice or not.
One of the great sporting sort of hacks I ever heard was someone was describing Don Bradman. He was a cricketer before your time.
I'm aware.
Yeah, you're aware. And we know obviously one of the greatest cricketers the world's ever seen. But they reckon, and I was terrible at cricket, but they reckon when he was in the lineup, so he was like third or fourth in the lineup. If you've ever played cricket before, you're kind of like, oh geez, I'm padded up, I'm ready. The openers are out, the fast bowlers, it's a bit scary. People would be thinking, don't get out. Geez, I'm here and I'm in the pavilion waiting to go out. There's a trepidation, and you kind of don't want the batsman batting to get out because you want to stay in your comfort zone. Apparently, he used to actually hope the guys got out.
Yeah.
So he was like, his mentality was, geez, I hope they get out because I want to get out there.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's exactly what you're saying. It's like you got to switch that to attacking the moment instead of being trepidatious about the moment. And as you say, so much easier said than done.
Yeah, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw this interview with Kelly as well about when he goes out for heat and it's going to decide the title. And I was so interested by it because you'd think people would be like, I'm going to think positive thoughts. I'm not going to think about the failure. And they're like, what do you do? And he goes, oh, I like to visualize losing and what it will feel like to lose. And I feel the same a little bit. It's just like almost make peace with both outcomes.
What's the worst that can happen?
And then you're free to go and just go for it. I think that's what I've done a lot in like big moments or my big moments. They're only little moments, but you know what I mean? Moments where you're really nervous and you're on
what you're doing, whether you're doing the Kelly method or your own, you're getting yourself into a state where you're not attached. You just do it. And you're okay with what happens. But you're controlling your performance.
Yeah, the whole goal is you just want to be able to go and be liberated to compete how you want to compete and not feel like you're tied to a result or like the result's pulling you down or like hemming you in. So I think however you got to do that.
And to switch to our industry, like our big moment is a listing presentation. Right? When we go and compete to get a listing, it's the same thing. Like we're out there asking for the business, right? For that agent out there and on Thursday night, 6 p.m. That is their moment. Yeah. And sometimes you can be sort of governed by I want to say what I think they want to hear and play it safe versus no, I'm going to give the right advice and I'm going to be detached. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm just attached to giving the best advice here. Yeah. Whether that lands well or not, you can't control that, but you can control the quality of your message and making sure that you're authentically presenting how you're going to add value to the transaction.
Absolutely, yeah. The guy that helps me out as well, he talks a lot about just saying it's pretty similar, like your effort over your outcome and just trying to come in, getting to a place where you can come in from your heat or whatever you've done and just hold your head high, whether you went out and got a pair of ones or you smashed it to be able to go, well, I went out there and I left no stone unturned. I did everything I could. Yeah. And whatever the result is, I can at least be somewhat proud of that. I'd prepared well and I went out there and I just tried my ass off to the end, even when everything was going south and, I fell off every wave, but I still got back out there and just kept going for it. Then that's a success.
I knew there'd be parallels. And even like, you could almost apply conditions. So, glassy, 4 foot, perfect, suits your surfing, 2 foot, windy, whatever suits someone else, big stuff, whatever. it's the same as ours. Our version of that is the marketplace. So buyer demand, stocks tight, hard to get listings, people competing and reducing comms versus all of a sudden stock loosens up, market changes. It's about being able to adapt. But you can only work in the marketplace that everyone else has got, and you can only work in the marketplace and everyone's working in the same market.
Yeah.
So your competitors that you're competing, they're in the exact same conditions. Or, although there is the factor of they could get a wave and, you'll miss it, but you can't control that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just pretty much the crux of it all.
Yeah.
So one thing that it's a bit of a parallel as well, I think, but it actually came up in the podcast you did with Ed last week. So one of the things now, and be really interested to get your take on this, but you look at more of the business side of surfing. So professional sport, we're going through this stage where some of the best athletes in the world aren't necessarily the best paid. So you look at running, for example, where you've got great marathon runners that have nowhere near the following, the sponsorship deals or different things as people that have just got this really incredible social presence that are, almost influencers outdoing the professionals. Yeah. How do you go about, because for being a professional surfer now is one about surfing, but also about what you're doing outside of that. Do you have a strategy behind social or trying to make sure that you're at the forefront? I mean, I watched that How Surfers Get Paid, very interesting documentary. Bobby Martinez, one of the only surfers that doesn't have a social presence or account, and good on him, like he's doing his thing. But is that something that you're consciously aware of, is wanting to get yourself out there from a business social perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's, as you said, it's changed so much. It's gone from you just get good at what you do and the rest will follow to like you got to kind of run your own business now, which is good and bad depending on how you look at it. But I'm pretty bad at it, to be honest. But I'm definitely like really aware of the importance of like your social presence in relation to like how well you get paid. I mean, brands don't care as much anymore about how they do. Like you still got to have something to back you up, but like you said, you can get all these endorsements out of just your pure marketing ability, essentially. But yeah, I'm probably not the best person to ask 'cause I'm pretty bad at it. But
no, but it's interesting for your perspective on that.
Yeah.
Whether you feel that's right or whether you feel you wish it was just ability and you don't want to focus on that stuff. Like it's just
to be honest, personally, I'd rather it just be how it was. You do your thing, and then the brands ask you to do this and that, and you go and do it. But I mean, it is what it is. The opposite sort of perspective is you get complete control of your image and your business as well. So you can take it in whatever direction you want. But yeah, it's just a tricky one to navigate. But I'd say like for someone coming up, if you want to make a career out of it, it's definitely an important one to like really at least get your head around and have a bit of an idea on like what I think there's like a lot of people, especially surfers, will have a pretty good idea of any sport of what their brand is.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like align themselves with brands like.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that are really good at it they'll know exactly where they're gonna like what sort of market they're gonna head to, and you go, I'm gonna go and chase this brand, that brand, brand, and I'm gonna.
Well, we've had that
myself
experience. And it's a great segue into how the Coastal Liam O'Brien relationship started. It's actually a great story, and I'm interested. There's probably going to be three different versions of it because it is a bit of a funny one. But it's funny because when we started, sponsoring you, we actually had one guy in particular that was super proactive about, won't mention his name, won't embarrass him, but he was very proactive about, hey, would you sponsor me? I've got some ideas, catching up, and I thought that's awesome. Good on him because he's not necessarily. High up in the rankings, but he's on the tour, and he was really keen to kind of. And I thought, and you know what? He's actually, when you look at his board, he's got very unusual stickers on his board. It's not necessarily surf brands. You can probably guess who it is. And in fact, you look at the board behind us here, and we've got a surf brand. Shout out to Whistler, greatest surf company of all time. Johnny, okay, absolute legends. But you've got Coastal, you've got Bossform, local Gold Coast company. You've made it when you got your own sunnies. The Lobster, outstanding sunnies. Check them out. We've all got a pair of them. We all got them when we came back from Fiji. But let's talk about that story because here we are in Fiji. like we're on a surf trip, and I do clearly remember. And to be honest, confession here, I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to shock you, but everyone else did. I was a bit out of the spectator of world surfing, but we're out at Cloudbreak having a look. Caveat: we were looking, we weren't surfing.
Hang on.
Well, you might have been,
I was
but it
surfing
would have
that
been.
way.
I'm calling it big. It was 10 foot. It was huge. It was pumping. Fun for you, right? See this guy in a helmet, cruise effortlessly, just taking off on bombs, absolutely loving it. And there was buzz. Oh, it's Liam O'Brien. It's Liam O'Brien. And then we get back to camp, back to Nyamotu, and there he is with the hair, swanning around the Nyamotu camp, and didn't think anything of it. And of course, a couple of drinks later, I think the evening kicked on, and Robbie goes, he came to me, he goes, mate, we've done a deal with Liam, we're sponsoring a pro surfer. And I'm like, oh, cool. So then we had a few, and then Barron, your manager, was there. We had a chat, and it actually, and even though it came like that, when we started to think about it, we did think about it amongst a couple of margarita cans. It did make sense for us because we're right at the beginning of launching our new brand, Coastal, and we always wanted to be a cool brand that happened to be in real estate. And we love the idea of Gold Coast, people that are actually well respected, that are having a crack. And I always remember I said, oh, you're from the coast, where are you from? And you said, Benoa. And I'm like, okay, I like this guy. Because he didn't say, I know you're a Burleigh border rider, but you, Benoa. Anyone knows the Gold Coast, that's like, that's where you went to school, right?
Yeah,
Benoa High. So I just thought, okay, I like this guy. And then from then, the next morning, tell me what you were thinking, because we did a deal, we shook hands. You were probably thinking, are these guys legit? Like, what's going on here? Had they had a few drinks?
Yeah, I actually felt really bad because I'm like, I don't think you guys want to sponsor me. I don't think it's a good idea, but I was just like so stoked, but I was just so dumbfounded. I'm like, I haven't really even done anything. I didn't throw you a pitch or anything. I just felt like a bit overwhelmed.
We had a team game of pool.
Yeah.
Dane and I and you and Barron.
Yes,
So I can't even remember who won. Do you remember who won?
I don't remember. No.
We didn't want to be the guys that woke up the next morning and said, oh, no, mate, we'd had a few,
No, I was more worried that was the reason. Like, it was just all on the riding high on a few margarita cans, as you said. And next morning, I just wanted to make it clear that, hey, there's no hard feelings if you've changed your mind. I fully understand.
But isn't it funny, though, because you look back on that, call that serendipitous moment,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But then from that, there we are in May at Burleigh, lobheads everywhere. And, like, it was amazing for our brand. Like, you've been amazing for our brand. And having, that beautiful camera ad that ad we had that we shot in Burleigh, playing at the WSL and on we used that on social as well. And of course, so good that we've actually signed on for another year. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, but it's awesome. And as I said at the beginning, good human being. Like, if you weren't a good human being, you'd have a great reputation. Doesn't matter how good a surfer you are, it wouldn't have worked for us. But you do have that, and very much real estate on the Gold Coast. It's very centric around beach lifestyle. That's what it's about, and surfing's at the centerpiece of that. So it actually makes a lot of sense for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be, obviously we've discussed plans of having you in the right property videos and some kind of appearances there, and a day for the team where we're going to have a learn to surf day.
Yeah.
I might actually go to that. Might pick up some tips. Might go some tips. So it's been a really, really great relationship, and we're excited to see where it goes. Tell us about where you're at now, Liam, because Margaret River, watching that live, like you dropped off the tour because they have actually had the format where there is a cut.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cut.
Yep.
You're currently sitting 8th.
Yep.
Got to be top 10, and
Yep.
there's 2 events to go. So you need to be top 10 in the Challenger Series to get back on tour. 2 events to go. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's essentially I'm just covering over all the things I've just sort of spoken about, and the same stuff I've learnt throughout my career. I kind of always reflect back on it and like use it again and again and again, and then just try and build on it. But these are these sort of tough, pressury moments. Like, they're the whole reason that you compete. Like, if it was just easy and you just it was just, you just walked on tour and then you got given a trophy and then you walked home. You'd be like, oh, well, that what's the point of that? That was a waste of time. And I mean, everyone's got different like ceilings. I'm not going to say ceiling's the wrong word, but I might never win a title. I might win a title. I might win, I might not get back on tour. I might get back on tour. I don't know where I'm going to land. But the whole thing is to just for me, is to maximize the potential I've got and then to face up to these moments and like see them for what they are. They're just awesome tests and awesome challenges. And that's the whole purpose of competing, is to put in these moments, to go for it. And then if you don't come up with the result, it sucks, but that's that's the consequence, that's the fee. And if you do come up with the result, it's the best feeling ever.
You can't lose with that mindset. That's a great approach. It's a great approach. So you got Pipe to go. So Pipe's coming up.
And then Newcastle.
Pipe, then Newcastle, yeah.
I mean,
everyone in the top 20 in the Challenger, let's say, be at both of those events?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now that it gets this close, they're like, okay, we've got to turn up.
Because it's only a limited tour, everyone would turn up regardless. Okay. I would say, unless you
not
kind
like
of
the QS when it was.
Nah. Unless you just way down the back end after a few events and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to work and save some money or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But especially coming toward the end, 2 events left with 2 events left, like I would still say that almost anyone has a shot. If you just go on a run and you win, if you won both, like you're 100% in. So everyone's going to show up and still feel like they've got a shot and want to go big. So it'll be good. Pipe will be exciting.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up with a reflection on a history-making moment. Cyclone Alfred. The coastal ski was out there. The coastal ski was out there. At least someone used it. And let me tell you, like watching that was right at the beginning of Cyclone Alfred, right?
Yeah,
and for those of you that don't know, if you get a chance to get online and search it up, Liam O'Brien, Big Burly, Cyclone Alfred, that was history making. Probably some of the biggest waves in Burley ever surfed. Tell us about that. Like that was ominous. Big brown mountains out there.
Yeah.
Nathan Meyer on the ski.
Yeah, Nathan Meyer the first day, and then myself and Toby Mossop the second day. I definitely can't claim biggest. The old boys have something to say about that.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't put you in that position.
Biggest waves I've surfed out there for sure. And like, it was really big, but in terms of, if you went to Hawaii or something, it wasn't like crazy. But what was so crazy about it was just like the swell was such short period, meaning the waves were so close together. Normally bigger waves, it'll be a much longer interval swell. So there'll be one wave and then it might be 20 seconds before the next wave breaks. Whereas this was like a 12-second interval. So it was one wave, 12 seconds, another wave. So it created like this just chaotic washing machine effect. And that was howling wind, a cyclone.
Yeah. And that drama of all the weather around it. Because as you say, like those actual waves in somewhere like Hawaii would be normal, right?
But you'd have like pristine conditions.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal, but
brown,
in control
lumpy.
and not
There's
just
logs everywhere.
Yeah. And then like a channel where you could paddle out, and it just handles that sort of size a lot better. So it was just, and then to see that at home, it's just like kind of crazy. Like, whoa, this is so bizarre. We're at the jet ski, like nearly at the shark nets, like looking in, going far out. This is wild.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had the coastal ski because I think if it wasn't the most souped up ski in the world, I don't think we would have lasted out there. But it was super fun. It was really cool to just come home and be able to experience some waves like that.
We're moving house at the moment, and we're Nathan said, "Oh, do you want to take the ski?" I said, "No, mate, that thing's been flogged. I don't want anything. I don't want anything to do with that ski." But it has been flogged. So that's the other thing I was going to ask you. Like, you go from that, or you go from like an amazing run of waves. And the thing about surfing is that you can have sort of pumping waves 2 weeks, a week, a couple of days, and then like today, like
yeah.
do you try and surf every day, even if it's not ideal?
Yeah, for sure.
You do.
Definitely, unless I'm deliberately wanting to have a break or have a rest. I'll try and make myself get out of there. Even if it's not, usually it's to train, but even if it's not to train, I just find it nice to go and tick it off. And
surfing's kind of unique, isn't it? Nothing really gets you better at surfing other than surfing.
Yeah. I get so rusty too.
Is that right? Do you agree with that?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff that will like complement it, but if you want to you're not going to improve if you're not out in the water. Like, it's just time in the water. It'd be the same as anything. If you're not hitting a ball with the tennis racket, you're not going to get any better at, your forehand or your backhand or whatever you're working on. It's the exact same. Like, you got to be out there. You got to be spending time. I think the only difference between yourself and me is just time spent, really.
Okay, come on. asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Say a 47-year-old guy, right? that wants to get better at surfing. And I know there are a lot of guys out there, and girls and ladies for that matter, that, they've had like a spasmodic relationship with surfing where they get all keen. Even guys in our office, like, they froth it and then they're on it, and then like after
there's a bad run.
and then there's a bad run, and then they haven't done, all of a sudden 3 months goes by. You're not going to get better doing that, right? What advice do you give to someone who is it just a case of just do it? You've got to, I mean, like the old 10,000 hours thing, you've just got to actually do it?
Definitely, yeah. Consistency's the best thing. I mean, even myself, if I'm out of the water for a week or a couple of weeks with a little injury or something like that, I feel so rusty when I come back in the water, and it takes a minute to get it back. Your timing's out, your read on the ocean's out. But if you're doing it every day, you're in the water every day, even if it's just half an hour, I feel like that helps so much. You just feel so much more connected. Your body and your board feel more connected.
Yeah.
When you're surfing good, your board feels like an extension of yourself, I reckon. Like, you can go wherever you want. It doesn't feel like you're fighting against it. When you're rusty, you're like, man, this feels weird to stand on this thing.
That's exactly where I'm at, mate. It's horrible.
Yeah. But you can also go and, like any sport, you can go and get you could get a coaching session just to get a few things to work on. 'Cause I feel like it's hard sometimes when you're by yourself to know what to work on. You're like, what?
Yeah.
I kind of want to do that. Even for me, if I'm trying to learn a new trick, I'm like, I want to do that, but I don't really know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. So sometimes it's nice to go and have someone like that knows what they're talking about, film you, and then
Well,
then
on
go,
that
hey,
point,
check this out.
On that point, because what I want to know, for the layman out there who's ever surfed and filmed it or had someone film it and you watch it back, like literally you can catch a wave, like you said, bang, 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 and then you watch it back and you're like, holy shit, was that the actual wave?
Yeah,
It felt amazing, but
Even
it
the
looked horrible.
size.
Oh,
Like at Fiji, you're out there and you think it was pumping.
Yeah.
You look back and you're like, it looks like a 2-footer.
Exactly.
On telly. Like,
do
what's
you
going
watch
on?
yourself surfing and go, oh no, or do you go, yeah, I'm ripping?
No, for sure.
Really?
You're always, it's so humbling watching footage. You're just like, oh, is that really? Like, that was it?
But some of your latest movie was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a cracker.
Yeah.
And there's some Fiji footage in there too, right?
Yeah, from that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, heaps of it. But yeah,
Friction.
friction of perception, it's called. Yeah. But yeah, it's the same for, I don't know, it doesn't seem to matter. When you're watching footage a lot, it's not as bad because you know what to expect. You know what you surf like. But when you haven't seen a clip of yourself for a while, you look at it and you're like, what? Like, that's... I'm pretty sure Rasta doesn't even watch footage of himself. He's like, no, I can't do it. Can't watch it. And you're like, he's
someone that could.
Yeah, he's like the best looking
Why would
surfer
I-
ever.
exactly.
Why would I want to ruin my self-perception?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I thought I was shredding.
Well, that's how I felt when I saw that clip the other day. I was like, why did I even look?
Yeah.
Well, Liam, we're all going to be watching your next phase of your career with, bated breath. We're going to be very excited to see. You are going to re-qualify. You are going to get back on tour, and we are going to see some victories. I know. I've already seen the future. It's happening. Wearing the coastal flag. So we want to thank you for being such a great ambassador of ours and even sharing your time here today. Been some awesome insights into the cross between the world of professional surfing and just life philosophy in general. So appreciate it. Now we are on our way, en route to the coastal Christmas party as we speak. So, drink responsibility and enjoy yourself. You've deserved it, mate. You're part of our coastal family. So thanks for joining us, Liam O'Brien.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it. Cheers.